Hey y'all, my name is Jessica and this is my channel, Casa Magnolia. Welcome back to the third week of these Pregnancy Mommy Monday videos. If you missed my last two videos in this series, it was my early pregnancy symptoms and our fertility journey. I'll link those down below. But today's video is getting steamy. It's TTC tips. That was really weird. I shouldn't have done that. So there's a couple of disclaimers that I have to say. I am not a medical professional, not a doctor, not a nurse, not a fertility specialist. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody or anything like that. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Secondly, if you are a family member, especially a male family member, please do not watch this video. It is not for you. I appreciate you trying to be supportive, but this is not for you. Don't watch it. This is for other people that are trying to conceive. So if we know each other in real life, don't look at this video. Moving on. So first I want to tell you a couple of things that I've tried. I went through my whole fertility journey. I feel like I pretty much tried everything. I tried, over the course of trying to get pregnant with my daughter Evelyn, I tried Geritol. I tried Geritol and the pre-mama like packets. I tried juicing a lot. I used to drink carrot juice like every day. I tried what my grandmother's hairstylist told us to do, which was both of us eat an avocado every single day, which could have made my husband barf. But I just feel like we tried everything. I tried, the putting your legs up in the air. I used to basically do a headstand and lay upside down for 10 minutes afterwards when we were trying, and it was just ridiculous. So I'll kind of split these up into different categories. My first couple tips are just about informational stuff, like the information that I wish I had done, the research I wish I had done before we started trying. I think that would have de-stressed me a lot more. The second portion will be nutritional and supplemental. Third will be kind of mental and spiritual stuff. And fourth will be the actual doing of the deed. Okay. So let's get started on my TTC tips. They're not numbered or anything, so don't expect some kind of professional list, but sorry. So before we started trying with Evelyn, and I just have to say, nobody in my family has ever experienced infertility. I was never really talked to in person about sex. I was kind of just sent to a class at church and given a little book about how when a married man and a married woman love each other very much, they have sex and a baby's born. And I just kind of felt like it was that easy. And whenever I would talk to my family about it, or the women in my family, and ask them what's wrong with me, people just kept saying, well, you ovulate after 14 days, so you just do it then. And I just kept feeling like something is wrong with me. Even I would do the ovulation test when we first started trying and stuff, and it was just, I knew I ovulated late, but I just didn't really have the whole picture. So if I were doing it again, I found on a podcast, it's a fertility podcast, but I found their recommendation for this book called Taking Charge of Your Fertility. I read that honestly not until after I had my daughter Evelyn, when we were trying for baby number 2. And I wish I had read that from the very start. I wish I had read that before we decided to start trying, 6 months ahead of time, and been tracking for 6 months, or at least 3 months, maybe 3 to 6 months. I feel like I would have had a lot more confidence in what my body was doing at that point by the time we started trying, if that makes sense. Because when we decided to start trying, we first for a year were just well, we're not trying, we're just not preventing, and we'll just see what happens, and it will all just obviously happen. It did not. But by the time that we were trying, I just feel like I would have known what to expect instead of being this panicky, fly by the seat of my pants mess. And I would have felt a lot more confident in what I was doing with the basal body temperature, cervical mucus information, ovulation test information. So that would just be my first tip for you, is to read Taking Charge of Your Fertility and start tracking at least 3 months or 3 cycles before you plan to start trying. I promise you that you may think, oh, I don't want to think about this until we're trying. It will just disappoint me, or, whatever. I don't think it will. It will make you feel a lot better and more informed and more confident in your body and your cycle. So the next part is kind of nutritional and supplemental. Is that what I said? I think so. When I got pregnant with Evelyn, I had started watching a channel that I don't remember what it's called. It's something about fertility. I'll find it. The girl that talks about it is Heather Rodriguez. She's the one that runs the channel and runs this company that I think it's called Natural Fertility Info. That sounds really good. Anyway, she has a lot of videos about fertility smoothies and stuff. And I had watched her for a while and was trying to make fertility smoothies, but I wasn't putting all the ingredients in them. Mainly just because, again, if you watch our journey, my husband might have been deployed at the time. So I was like doing smoothies to try and be healthy and like get things ready. But I wasn't like going to go out and spend all these monies on these supplements when he was gone at the time. Like, I tried to kind of time things. Our journey got really drawn out if you haven't seen that video. The month that I got pregnant with her was the month that I had ordered a bunch of the supplements to make some of her fertility smoothies. And I was making them every morning from the time that I started my period to when I ovulated, with Fertilica, Fertiligreens powder in my smoothie, the maca powder in my smoothie, and I also put some of the royal jelly, which people talk about royal jelly and it kind of goes like back and forth. Some people act like it does nothing, but I don't know. It was in my smoothies. Obviously it helped. The big thing I think personally is the maca powder, because that kind of naturally balances out your hormones. And if you know our fertility journey, I have an endometrial cyst on my right ovary and I have very long cycles. So I really think that, I don't know that it made that big of a difference that first cycle, but I think that made me ovulate earlier, which helped me get pregnant, if that makes sense, because it was starting to regulate those hormones. That may have also been why I had normal progesterone during that pregnancy and during my miscarriage, and the pregnancy that I'm in now, I've had low progesterone because I wasn't taking those supplements. I don't know that for sure, but that's just the experience that I had, that I took it. I did these smoothies for a month and got pregnant and had 0 complications. So that's the supplements that I took with my first pregnancy. Again, I was trying to eat healthy the whole time, but look, like, I can't be on a fertility diet had been going on 3 years. Like, by the time I got pregnant with her, we had been trying for 3 years. And at that point, like, I just can't be eating crazy stuff every day trying to get pregnant. Because at that point, I was just thinking it's never going to happen and very depressed about it. I was trying to do the smoothies to at least be healthy, but no like particular diet, if that makes sense. When I had my miscarriage, I got pregnant in June of 2018. That time, the only supplement that I was taking, I wasn't taking the smoothies regularly. I was kind of taking them every once in a while. Like, I mean, I had a baby. I was just doing the best I could to get food in me. If that makes sense. I mean, I feed her and pretty much eat what's left over on her tray. So if I could, I was making the smoothies, but I wasn't doing them every single day. And the only thing I really did differently supplement-wise with that pregnancy was I was taking the conception supplements that you may have heard about in some people's videos or seen on Amazon. I'll put a little picture of it somewhere on the screen and link to it below. So one bottle should last you about 1 cycle, I believe. I think it's 2 pills a day. So one bottle lasted 1 cycle. So I was on my 2nd bottle when I got pregnant, meaning my 2nd cycle, with conception when I got pregnant. I did lose that pregnancy at 6 weeks along. I'm not saying that those supplements had anything to do with it at all. So please don't take that to mean that it was, their fault or anything. Because plenty of people have said that they've had great luck with it. I obviously had luck with it because I got pregnant. That's the type of supplement you're looking for. It obviously does work. I just happened to have a miscarriage on the time that I got pregnant with it. The pregnancy that I'm on now, I was not taking any supplements, no smoothies, because the weather was starting to get colder. And I was not taking the conception supplement anymore because I had just had the miscarriage and I was waiting for my period to start before I started to try again. I think I was just taking like a regular vitamin, multivitamin, maybe my prenatal one-a-days that I had left over. I wasn't taking anything like in particular supplement wise. So those are just some thoughts of stuff you might want to take. That conception aid really did work for us. And again, I think if you have like a hormonal imbalance or something, definitely look into the maca root. Definitely look into the maca smoothies and stuff like that. I will link her channel below, the girl Heather Rodriguez, because she has even more than the smoothie recipes. She has way more information out there and tons of videos for fertility information. I found her channel to be so beneficial just information wise. So those are the first sections. Third section was spiritual and kind of mental. And I'll just kind of say, I used to try and do like meditations and fertility guided meditations and stuff, but I just really found myself like obsessing with being pregnant. Even though it was a positive obsession because you're meditating, when I would be done meditating, it would get into this obsession of, will I ever be pregnant? And just spun out of control to getting more depressed about it. I do have to say, if you have faith in anything, you have to put your faith in that. Even though I've gone to church my whole life, I didn't find Jesus in my heart until I was going through our initial fertility journey. And that has helped me through, the ups and downs of our journey, with waiting on our first pregnancy and waiting for Evelyn to come and be conceived, and also dealing with our miscarriage and just having faith that we'll have a healthy baby. So, if you do go to church or do, have faith in something, I would just say try and grow in that, because I think it will help you not to be only relying on yourself and putting so much pressure on yourself, to know that there's something bigger than yourself, if that makes sense. I hope that does. So the final part is just doing the deed. Ew, this is embarrassing to talk about. So again, when I got pregnant with Evelyn, if you haven't seen that video, we were moving that month. I was waiting for my period to start so that we could have fertility treatments that next month. Basically what had happened the month I got pregnant with her was my fertility doctor was out of town when I was estimated to be ovulating, so they couldn't do my IUI. So they were like, we'll do it in August. Well, I got pregnant in July. So I really can't tell you exactly what day after ovulating that we did it or whatever. That's kind of like a scratch there. It just happened. But with my pregnancy that resulted in miscarriage and the pregnancy that I'm in right now, we did the sperm meets egg plan. With the miscarriage, I was also tracking basal body temperature, ovulation tests, and like cervical mucus changes. So I had like a whole graph going with that. We started the sperm meets egg plan that month. With the pregnancy that I'm on now, I didn't do all the tracking because again, I had just had a miscarriage. My stuff was all messed up and I was just waiting for my cycle to start. But once I realized that I was ovulating through egg white cervical mucus and confirmed it with a ovulation test, we did the sperm meets egg plan. So what is the sperm meets egg plan? I don't know exactly where it started, but I found people talking about it in videos online, and that's just kind of where I got the information from. So I'll link any videos that I can find down below. But I think it is for people that are, it was made for people that are trying to get pregnant after miscarriage, which, you know, when we first started it, we hadn't had a miscarriage, but we had been trying and nothing was happening. So we were just trying to get a plan down. So basically what the sperm meets egg plan is cycle day 1 is the first day of your period. At cycle day 8, you start having sex every other day. At cycle day 10 is when you start doing ovulation tests every day. So let's say 8, 10, 12, 14, whatever. Because that's kind of on the assumption that you might be an early ovulator at day 12 or 14 and you don't want to miss it. I don't ovulate until really late. With my miscarriage, I ovulated on day 25. And again, I don't have the dates for this pregnancy because I hadn't had a period. It lets you know kind of where you're at. So basically, you keep having sex and doing you do the ovulation tests every day, having sex every other day. Once you get a positive ovulation test, you have sex 3 days in a row, skip 1 day, and then have sex 1 more day. So 4 total times in 5 days after the positive ovulation test. I wish I could put graphics up here, but I'm not that tech savvy. So we did the sperm mates egg plan in addition to using pre-seed and soft cups. Pre-seed is a lubricant that's supposed to help with sperm mobility. It doesn't impede sperm mobility like some can. And soft cups are kind of like a Diva cup, but they're like a soft plastic, not silicone, so they were a little more shallow. I did not use those on the every other day leading up to the positive ovulation test. I only did them after the positive ovulation test, those 3 times, not the day you skipped, obviously, and then the last time. So 4 times total per cycle. If you have any questions about that, you can leave it below because I know it's kind of confusing. But it was those last 4 times that I would use the soft cup after we had sex. I would insert it and basically just leave it in all night because you can leave it in for 12 hours. So that allowed me to get up and use the restroom and not be worried that, you know, things were coming out, and it just kept things closer to your cervix. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you for sure that that helped, but it did make me feel better. And it does, you know, if you're putting it in right and keeping it up close to your cervix, it's keeping things up there. So, yeah, sperm meets egg plan, soft cups, and using pre-seed. And on the days that we would use the soft cups, I would put a little bit of the pre-seed in there, just to help with the sperm that would be caught up in there, if that makes sense. So those are my TTC tips from an informational, nutritional, and supplemental, kind of spiritual and mental, and doing the deed standpoint. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I know it was a lot of info and like a lot of stuff, especially going through 3 different pregnancies, because they were kind of all different. But those are what's worked for us, and I've obviously gotten pregnant 3 times from doing these different things. So I hope one of these works for you if you're trying. Just know that it only takes 1 time, and you never know when it can happen. We're all hoping and praying for you. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.